All right, so here we are with JM Pro TV again. Jasmin, thanks so much for speaking with us today. I wonder if we could have you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what's going on here today.
Absolutely. My name is Jasmin Beach-Ferrara. I'm Executive Director of the Campaign for Southern Equality. We just concluded a press conference to launch a statewide campaign called Born Perfect North Carolina to protect LGBTQ youth from the dangerous practice of conversion therapy. And we're also marking the historic occasion of three pro-LGBTQ bills that were introduced in the North Carolina legislature this morning. One would repeal HB 2 fully, one would provide comprehensive non-discrimination protections for our community, and the third would ban the practice of conversion therapy for youth.
So HB 2 has been kind of in this dormant stage for a little time now. What has this time been like in between?
Well, unfortunately, when a law like HB 2 goes into effect, it also has a teaching effect. And one of the things that has happened is that it has chilled the climate in our state for trans folks. Many folks continue to live in fear that they will not be treated fairly or not have full access to public facilities. And we also see that many, whether it's a local city or a public school system, institutions that would very much like to adopt measures protecting the LGBTQ community and especially the trans community feel reticent to do so because they're afraid of a backlash from the legislature. Fully repealing HB 2, fully repealing HB 142 are the solution to that, to create a clean slate and the ability for local communities to pass protective measures and also to see measures like that pass at the state.
So even if it doesn't pass, it sounds like it still could have that teaching effect of here's a different sort of bill that could be presented.
Yeah. In the South, winds look different than they might look in other parts of the country. And getting three bills like this introduced is a big step forward and something we can organize around. We will use it to tell stories, to activate people to call their legislators. What we know is the more people learn about the lives of LGBTQ folks, the more people learn about the dangerous practice of conversion therapy, the more ready they are to stand up for it. So we know that it's a long road ahead in many regards, but we feel hopeful about what's possible. And we see this as part of an interlocking web of civil rights issues in our state around immigration rights, economic justice, racial equity, and justice issues.
Could you speak a little bit more about how all of these issues are connected?
They're connected first and foremost through our lives. LGBTQ people are part of every single community, every racial group, every faith community, folks from every status and community you could think of. So that's one. The other is through our relationships, because we love and care about each other. And then the other is through a vision around justice and equality, and knowing that when anyone is persecuted and targeted, we all are, and we have a responsibility to stand up. So as we celebrate what happened this morning and move forward in our organizing, we're of course closely tracking a very insidious bill that would seek to restrict the ability of sheriffs to refuse to cooperate with ICE. The tension between a regressive bill like this and a hopeful bill like the ones we're celebrating speaks to the ways that we have to be engaged as a movement intersectionally on many issues at once and always be talking about these issues together.
Do you think, I'm curious with the presentation of these three bills here in North Carolina, what do you think has changed that has pushed these forward? Is this an economic response to the state governing body?
Well, what we know actually is that a significant majority of people across North Carolina support these measures. That has been true, and that level of support just continues to grow. And we're seeing it show up in political will now. And the next step is for it to show up in political power, meaning we're able to pass bills like this. So it's the result of decades and decades of organizing and people coming out. It's the result of there now being more out LGBTQ people at the North Carolina General Assembly, I think historic numbers. So these become very personal issues in chambers there as well. So it's many different things at once. And I also think it's that, our state has been stained by HB 2, by Amendment 1, by Senate Bill 2, and there's a growing swell of folks across the state who are ready to turn the corner and move into what's possible in 2019.
So for viewers who maybe are unfamiliar with conversion therapy and want to learn more about harmful effects that it has, and just to learn more about these bills and what's going on with Campaign for Southern Equality and for other organizations of that sort, can you recommend any resources?
Absolutely. Please go to bornperfectnc.org. That's the campaign website hosted by Campaign for Southern Equality and Equality North Carolina and a statewide coalition. You can join the campaign as an individual. You can join as a coalition partner. You can contact your legislators through that site. And also tune into both organizations for breaking updates as these bills move forward now that they've been introduced. We welcome everyone into this movement. And what we know is that when people learn how ineffective, dangerous, and harmful conversion therapy is, they support banning it as a practice that can target youth.
Great. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for all the great work you all do.